Hello! If you're unfamiliar with how anime broadcast seasons are structured in Japan, there are basically 4 quarters that are referred to as seasons. So these are winter, spring, summer, and fall. Most anime have 12 episodes per season that air weekly, so this winter season lasted roughly 3 months between January and March. In this video, I'll be going over 7 anime that I enjoyed over the winter period of 2022. There is no particular order to this, I'm just going to go through and speak about these series that I picked out, with a bonus section as well. Well then, let's begin. I think I should say very early on that the slice of life genre is one of my absolute favorites. Slow Loop is a cute story about girls learning to fly fish. Hiyori, the main character, has a very strong emotional connection to the sport, as it is something she was taught by her father, who has recently passed away. When her mother remarries, she gains a new father and sister, Koharu, so fly fishing becomes the tool that develops the connection between these two girls. The calm and peaceful moments are very reminiscent of other Iyashike shows like Eurocamp. The main elements are teaching the audience about the different aspects of fishing, and there are some lovely cooking moments as well. Slow Loop has pretty outdoor environments, fun characters with cute designs, and it steps up its main sport of fly fishing by having it relate to something very emotional for those characters. Life with an ordinary guy who has reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. Wow, that is a mouthful. I think this anime asks the truly important questions. Can you really kiss the homies goodnight? The anime has a classic isekai setting, however it does take a backseat to the gender-bent comedy that the story truly focuses on. Tachibana and Jiguji are childhood friends who have grown up together and now work in the same company. One night, after some late-night drinking, they get transported to a fantasy world. However, the goddess that summoned them was a bit too literal with Tachibana's drunken rant and changed him into a girl. And to top it off, after insulting the goddess, she cursed the two of them to be attracted to each other. So the series focuses mainly on the comedic hijinks that the two characters get into. Not only do they have to control their feelings for each other, but Tachibana's cute form attracts everyone and anything that they meet as well. There are a lot of fun moments and an interesting world that I wish the show could have spent more time focusing on. There are a few details and ideas that showed up towards the end of the show that I wish had been included a little earlier in the season to give a more consistent feeling of narrative progression, but other than that, this is a solid comedy. Beautiful is the perfect description of Akebi's sailor uniform. It is another lovely slice of life school show with amazing artwork and characters. Set in rural Japan, Akebi is starting at a new prestigious school. However, she does mess up by accidentally wearing an older style sailor uniform instead of the more modern one. I originally thought that there might be some school drama around Akebi being allowed to wear a separate uniform than her classmates, but that is not the case at all. The focus is on the daily school life of the students, and it falls into a more episodic structure where Akebi interacts with one or more of her classmates, learning something about their hobby or school activity. I enjoyed that episodic structure of the show. It was great to see all the personal connections that were centered around Akebi and the deeper reasons that she had for being so extroverted and friendly. I loved all the unique designs of the characters, and for the most part, the show focused on the more mundane, everyday life activities. So I appreciated all the smaller pieces of animation that the characters were performing, like reading books and moving their clothing or hair. There are also these absolutely stunning moments that show detailed colored illustrations from the original manga. 日頃か
から研究ノートをつけているので自然と身についてしまったのです。
すごいな
あけびさんはもう書き終わったのですか？おー、なるほど。簡略化することでむしろ対象物の特徴を強調させることができるんですね。
さすがです。
My Dress Up Darling is the standout show of this season, and I was very excited to see it after reading the manga. Gojo is a quiet, reserved person who has an interest in traditional Hina dolls, which his grandfather is a master of making. Due to some childhood trauma when he tried to show off his passion to a friend, they rejected him and called his passion weird. Gojo feels a bit afraid that he will have the same experience with others, which explains his quiet nature. But the introduction of Marin, an upbeat and extroverted Gyaru type who loves anime and cosplay, really breaks his shell as the two start to work together to make costumes. Cloverworks have produced 2 amazing shows this year, and the animation for both has been amazing. There is so much liveliness to all of Marin's movements, and she has so many cute expressions. There is also a variety of styles on display with all the media that the duo reference for the costumes, including some clips from an original Magic Girl anime. Gojo has the more stoic personality of the two, but it's fun to see him crack with all the teasing and situations that come from interacting with Marin. While the personalities of the two seem to be in opposition to each other, I do like how as the story progresses and their relationship deepens, it follows the Josei style of showing Marin actually realizing her love for Gojo first. I'm still amazed at how captivated I was by this show, and I'm eagerly awaiting more.
Naniそれ。
終わった。
すっごーい。五条くんミシンできる人なの？
は？
だからミシンなんでできんの？洗濯で家庭科ないじゃん。
俺の家ひな人形の店やってて、なので昔から教わって。
そっち系
？Welcome to this short section where I briefly go over some anime that are returning for a new season and some shows that continued from the last.
よし！こっからはド派手に行くぜ！
Demon Slayer Entertainment District Arc. After the amazing success of its first season and movie, I am blown away by the consistent animation quality that Ufotable has displayed in this season. With the introduction of some new characters like the flashy Hashira, Tengen, and the comedy of the original trio, I would love to talk more about this show, but I want to keep this brief. Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2. It is not quite finished yet. The second season of Ari Fureta is more of that fun, cheesy isekai show. I am so amazed by the prolific year in store for Yamamoto Soichiro. Not only is Takagi-san returning for its 3rd season, but also a movie and 2 more manga of his are being adapted later this year. The continuing climax of Ranking of Kings also came to an end this season, and I was so impressed by the amazing animation that was present in this final part. There is a very grounded feeling to Police in a Pod. Most shows that try to show off a type of work in a semi-serious fashion usually start the story with a newbie that has just started on the job. Kawaii, the main character, is still a rookie, but the story does start with her being disillusioned from police work and wanting to quit. She does decide to hold off after being inspired by the new senior that transfers to work with her, Fuji. I do enjoy the consistent style of Studio Madhouse's animation. There isn't really anything that makes it stand out, but I do enjoy the expressions of its characters, especially as police officers have to switch from comfortable public-facing personas to more serious and direct personas when interacting with criminals. There is a combination of more dramatic elements that come with police work, and I appreciate that the story does not shy away from some of the more serious topics like sexual abuse and suicide. There is a nice balance between the serious and more comedic slice-of-life moments. The show doesn't hold back on some of the frustrations that police officers handle, such as excessive work hours and abuse from the general public. All these complaints seem to come from the original manga author's own experience with being a police officer. While there are some isekai shows this season that I felt were a bit lacking in world building, I was impressed by some of the depth that was in Leadale, but the show did falter a bit with its visuals. I believe it's impressive regardless that there was a consistent style to the show, and I don't often see isekai stories that have the classic overpowered fantasy with a female lead. Kanya is a lovable and earnest character that finds herself in the MMO she loved to play while she was critically ill. Most of the time, the supporting cast of isekai stories develop a connection to the main character as they are introduced and the story progresses. However, I did enjoy the twist that some of the side characters in this show end up being Kanya's own NPCs that she had previously made. They treat her like a mother and she treats them like her own children. There is a good ambition behind the world of Leadale and a nice relaxed story, but it is held down by not so stellar animation. I was very impressed that this was the first work from the newly made Studio Oz. There is so much colour and life to this crazy post-apocalypse world. I don't think that I'm exaggerating when it comes to the world of Rusty to Bisco. Bowmen that spawn giant mushrooms, giant crabs, a plane that's been fused with a giant slug, hippos with freaking machine guns attached to their backs. There is so much outrageous stuff that happens in just the first few episodes, but none of it feels overbearing. But there is a simplicity to the main story. Milo is this renowned doctor who's trying to find a cure for this rusting disease, and he meets Bisco, a mushroom bowman that is also looking for that same cure, knowing that there is some legendary mushroom that can apparently cure this disease. Both of them have people that are affected by this sickness, so the two set out on a journey to find this cure. So the show becomes this enjoyable episodic adventure as the two venture out into this colourful and fun world. Bisco opens up to more people as Milo becomes more assertive and skilled. I think this was a fun and creative show with a spectacular story that really does take some exciting and surprising turns towards its climax.
最近の天下党員は弓を使うのか？
はあ、殺生は禁じられておりません。
知ってるよそんなことは。飛び道具はダメなんじゃなかったか？殺生の重みを感じないとかで。銃とか矢はダメって聞いたぞ。
That's 7 anime I watched this winter season. I'd like to make some more videos for each season as the year goes on. I'm also planning to slowly go backwards through the previous years of anime. Actually, I've written some notes going all the way back to 2016. Hopefully, you'll come back and have a look. Thank you for watching.